Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq. I got the Queen, Demetra K. And I am the 5-star general. Man, what the hell we raising, man? You can't even go on spring break. Somebody slipping something in these girls' drinks, raping them, robbing them. We gotta talk about this here tonight, man. Let's get to it. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for tuning in. You know, without you guys, we would not have a show, so we definitely appreciate you tuning in. I want to remind you that scrolling at the bottom of this screen is something that's real important to me. We got to figure out a way to get white supremacists out of law enforcement because they have invaded law enforcement. They've been there for decades, and we got to get them out. That's one of the reasons that we going through what we going through when police stopping black people and killing them. So at the bottom, you will see a petition link. Write it down. Go to the link, www.change.org/white supremacists. Gotta go. Go in there and sign that petition for your boy, man. In the news for me, man, I'm just sitting and I'm watching these young rappers make a damn fool of themselves. NBA young boy got arrested in LA yesterday. Now, you know the rules of California. You go on vacation, you leave on probation. That's the rules of California, man. But he done went down there, try to run from them laws, and they done sick them dogs on him. And come to find out you got a felony warrant out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. NBA young boy, we'll holler at you. Donovan, what's going on, man?
All right. Hey, you guys, welcome to the War Zone. Glad you are here. Like I said, one of the best conversations on the internet. I know I'm happy to be here. I was in the yard all day trying to get my property looking right for the spring. So if you guys are, at home and you're unemployed due to no fault of your own, this is the time to go to Lowe's and Home Depot and, fix up the old promenade and make it look nice and, get it ready for summertime, right? Right. In the news today, as you guys have heard, there's been another mass shooting in Colorado. And, we're having so many mass shootings in the United States that, we're basically desensitized. It's just like, okay, here's another one. No big deal, right? As they keep trying to change the narrative. Now, I was on my podcast and I told people yesterday, and it's shocking to me that I was wrong. But I said, as the news was breaking, I said, it's probably another white guy going off. But I hear in this case, this person is of Middle Eastern background or something like that. And, whatever. So we have another mass shooting. Now, President Joe Biden has said he might have to use executive order to ban certain guns or whatever to, disarm the population. Now, I wish a motherfucker would, because...
What type of guns he talking about banning?
Oh, he didn't say specifically, but most likely like assault type weapons or something like that. But to me, the Democratic agenda is just to disarm people, period. So
because I was thinking, if he bans assault rifles, then what stops him from having semi-automatic pistols?
Thank you.
Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Kill people. Exactly. But everybody, it's got to stop the tragedy, whatever. And it is a tragedy. Don't get me wrong. It is a tragedy. However, you have guns to protect yourself from the government and to defend yourself. And that's one thing, like I said, I wish a motherfucker would try to come and get my guns. You're going to have a serious problem over here. So it's funny how unilaterally he can do whatever he wants as president and no problem, no nothing. But yet he's for a study, but he isn't for reparations. And then there's that town in Chicago, near Chicago, that is talking about reparations, what isn't really reparations. It's money to fix your house and all that other stuff. Stop falling for the bullshit, people. That is not reparations. They cannot dictate to you what reparations is. Reparations can only be a monetary compensation, because if I offer you free education and you already got your PhD, how does that benefit you? It doesn't. Again, and reparations should only go to ADOS, those of fundamental blacks that are descendants of slaves. So that's the news. Demetra.
So hello, everybody. I hope all is well. Welcome to Tuesday night edition of the War Zone. If you could do us a favor and share this live so that everybody else can get the information and join in on the conversation. As Gary talked about, and don't forget, you guys, it is $2 Tuesday. So if you can hit Gary's Cash App and he'll put it up. He is running for school board here in Houston. So he needs money to get to the school board to take care of a whole lot of campaigning issues. And so $2 Tuesdays is what we're doing. I mean, $2 minimum, right? Like you go to the club, it's a 2-drink minimum, $2 minimum, but you can donate as much as you want, and it'll be greatly appreciated. And so as Gary talked about just a second ago, they're, as you guys know, in Miami, Florida, they were on spring break, right? They being a whole host of people or on the beaches and things like that. And one of the things that came out of the spring break was, it says 2 men were reportedly in Miami Beach during spring break, have been accused of drugging, raping, and stealing from a woman who later died at a hotel. Now, Evor, I think that's how you say his name, 21, and Dorian, 24, have been charged with sexual battery, burglary with battery, petty theft, and fraudulent use of a credit card. Now, what happened was, I guess they met her somewhere and they went back to her room with her. And while they were in the room, one of the guys said the other one gave her a green pill. Okay, so what that green pill is, they're just still trying to figure out what it was. They don't know if it was fentanyl or something like that, a date rape drug. So anyway, they said that they had to help her walk to her room because she was staggering. Once they got in there, gave her the blue pill or the green pill, they had sex with her, then took her belongings, a credit card, phone, cash, and whatever else they could take. And then they left, and then she died. And so when the authorities were called to her room, they found her half-naked body, and she had passed away and all of that. And so, of course, most hotels, motels, whatever it is, they have surveillance cameras. It saw the 3 of them go into her room, and then an hour later, they saw the 2 men come out of the room without her. And so they are actually from North Carolina, and this happened in Florida. They caught them, and they admitted to having sex with her and said all of that. She was too inebriated or whatever it was to walk. So my thing is, it's a wise man told me a long time ago, if you don't know the rules, then you can't break the rules, right? So anybody in their right mind knows that it is a crime. It's rape to have sex with somebody who cannot consent. And so they admitted it. Like, well, she was staggering. So we walked her to her room, gave her something, and had sex with her. So tonight we're going to talk about, who are we raising? This is a 21-year-old and a 24-year-old. I don't know. I think Florida may be with the shits with the death penalty. I don't know. But they're potentially, if the death penalty is still on the table in Florida, they're looking potentially at the death penalty. Maybe not, because maybe they didn't intend to kill her. But they're definitely not getting out for a while, and their bond was denied. So I guess Monday they're going to go to court and, see what else needs to be done. But yeah.
I think the question is you asked the question, who are we raising? Some days I really don't know. Some days I really do not know. I figured out something about young boys, and I'm dead serious when I say this. When they get a shot of good pussy, they lose their mind. You notice I'm not smiling, I'm not joking, I'm dead serious. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. And then they become addicted, and they'll do anything to try to get it. To drug somebody to have sex with them, I don't think so. I think one of the best interviews I ever seen was Pimp C and Bun B when Pimp got out of jail, and Pimp was talking about him and Bun. He say, "Man, I've been around this man here for so long. We ain't never did nothing like that. We ain't never ran no train on somebody like that was the thing to do. Why I'm gonna be watching this man booty hole while he laying up with somebody? I don't know what is wrong with some of these kids, not all of the kids, but I know definitely when we ask who are we raising, Some of y'all not raising your kids. And that's all it boils down to. And then they get out there and they think that they can just tell the police anything when they grab them. That shit ain't gonna work, bro. You're going to jail for a long time.
But here's my question in regards to that, and Demetra said this on a show a couple of years back. I was watching it the other day. She said this, it's like, people are willing to take drugs from people who cut it in the garage with, you don't know what, formaldehyde, all kinds of crap. And, and I'm not putting any disclaimer on the victim or anything like that, but, somebody offers you a green pill, you don't know what, you just met that person. You don't know what is in that drug or whatever. I had a friend, she tried drugs one time and it fried her brain and she has never been the same since. So I'm not saying that, what my question is, I don't understand how you can go into a place like Miami for spring break, meet people you do not know for the very first time, take drugs from them, and don't think bad things will come of it. And like I said, who are we raising? Because when we have kids that are willing just to kill themselves one way or the other, what does that say? Because like I said, when we were coming up, at least my mom told me, everybody's not your friend. You just don't, pick up and, do this and drink that. And when leave your drink open, all that other, stuff that you're supposed to know to protect yourself. So, I'm not saying the onus is on her, but to willingly just take something from somebody you don't know, bad things can happen. And we all know that, but yet our young women still do it. Young people still do it. It just makes no sense to me.
I think it's the level of the drugs nowadays, Demetra. Back when we was young, you could smoke a little weed. All you did was just eat up everything in the fridge. But nowadays everything seems to be laced with something. And, when Master P was in his heyday, and it's still around, we used to talk about that water. Well, do we know what water is? That's formaldehyde. Do we know what formaldehyde is? That's dead man juice. That's what they shoot up in your ass when you're dead to preserve your body. So they dip in their weed in that. Most of the stuff that they lacing this stuff with, these date rape drugs, that there's some type of opiate. I'm studying this right now. As we're talking about this, I'm studying this and learning this, that is mostly opiate. And it's unfortunate that young lady lost her life, and no, it was not her fault. But I mean, you have to also be responsible for yourself. I mean, you're from out of town, you don't know these dudes. Why put yourself in that position? Because you know what's really going on out here nowadays. This is not a brand new story. This happens every other day. Date rape drugs happen, every other day, every day, whatever we want to call it. So I don't feel she was at fault, but I feel that it's the level of the drugs that these motherfuckers is taking out here now. I mean, you taking that shit, get your butt naked in the front yard? What kind of dope is that?
Yeah, so Hope, how you doing? And Fayville, how you doing as well? Everybody else, I'm actually agree with you. It's not her fault. Because and I want to stop right with the men. And you're right, Fayville, they're not boys. They're boys to us, but they're chronologically men. And Hope, no, it's not her fault. And I think sometimes we tend to focus on, the victim instead of the perpetrators as much, and I would say this, I think she should be able to take somebody back to her room and not end up dead. And again, I know it's not wise to do, so don't mistake me in saying that. But I think when we focus on young lady, you shouldn't have did A, B, C, and D, and then we take the onus off of the perpetrators. Those boys or men knew what they were doing. They went into her room, had sex with her when she wasn't able to consent, gave her something when she was already in a bad way. And then once she was unconscious, they left her half nude body after they pillaged and robbed her of all of her belongings and stupidly went and used the credit cards. So no, we need to put the blame where the blame is due and ask the questions. How do our young men believe that's okay to do that to somebody and somebody's daughter? Like, there's no no, like no reverence for life. Why would you do that? I mean, what? Because me and my daughter was talking about this. I get really angry about this kind of stuff, and she was too. What happened to if you gonna have a one night stand? You know, whatever. But why do you need to go do something like that to somebody, rob them, rape them, and leave them for dead? I mean, this is a whole different beast we dealing with. And I think that's where the conversation needs to be, not admonishing the dead or any other woman who chooses to bring a man back to her room. That does not mean that should be her death sentence.
Well, me and you, we don't debate or differ on a lot. But some of that I'm not going to agree with. It's nothing wrong with a one night stand. I've had them. But when you having a one night stand with two men, you really think that shit gonna go right?
But remember, she was already drunk or high, whatever it was.
No, I get that. I get that part. But you also, like with your daughter, I don't see your daughter in South Beach. Not on her worst day. You see what I'm saying? When you go to events like that, you know the atmosphere before you get there. You know the type of things people want to indulge in before you get there, whether you're a man or a woman. Some days you just have to take your ass to Padre Island and deal with that brown ass water. And just go down there and it's what it is. I mean, but we can't, you can't keep putting yourself in positions where you think it's always going to work out right.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Is it her fault? I'm gonna have to say yes and no, because at the end of the day, we know drugs is a bad thing to do. I mean, I don't know anybody that would put themselves in a position with, let's say you're a female, and ladies, this is just a scenario. Hope nobody ever is in a situation like this. You're in a room full of males. Even if you're a professional stripper, they don't put themselves in situations like that unless they have their girlfriend or somebody around them to do it. But okay, this girl took drugs. Okay, it fried her. She got high. We're not blaming her. I'm saying, why would she put herself in a position with people she does not know? And you're right, Demetria, that the onus is on the perpetrators. And why they would do this is because of the culture that we keep reinforcing within our community, and we're not calling out the drug gangster culture. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm, this is thug, this is that. And the women are right along with it. When I see these girls dancing to, oh yeah, bitch, wop, da 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 da, it all goes hand in hand. So, no, it isn't it definitely isn't manhood, in my opinion. No, it's not the girl's fault. These guys should know better. But, we have a culture of young people who are a lot of these young men are being raised by single mothers, and their single mothers are doing the best they can. These young men are seeing the single mom bringing boyfriend after boyfriend in the house in some situations, and they just don't think there's nothing wrong with it. Their sister's getting pregnant, aunt is getting pregnant. There's nothing wrong. Just go ahead and just do what you got to do. And it's sad and it's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, we got to start bearing some responsibility for what we do initially. The stuff after the fact, these guys, there's no way in the world I would take advantage of a woman that's out of her mind. My mom told me, said, when a woman says no, even if you're already stroking, that's it. Wrap it up, pull out, and go. No means no.
And I want to say this, I'm just going to continue reiterating my point. We live in a society now to where we want to blame women for men behaving badly. I mean, regardless of, like I said, who she brought in her room or whatever it is she did not have the right to be dead. And we do too much admonishing of the young girls while letting these boys get a pass. And that's probably why a lot of these young boys and these young men are off the goddamn chain, because they constantly hear, well, if the woman would have did this, or the single mama would have did that, or this, that, and the other, then maybe she wouldn't have ended up in that situation. Now, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like to me, if a woman was walking down the street butt naked and she was raped, you know what I hear from society? Well, she shouldn't have been naked. She shouldn't have been walking down the street. A woman should be able to walk down the street butthole naked and not have somebody do something to her. So yeah, she should. In hindsight, as my mom used to always say, is 2020. So there's a lot of things she shouldn't have done, but they should have walked her to her room, admitted that she was not in a position to care for herself, take her in there and do what they did to her, even if she, in her state, invited them in there. So we got to stop putting the blame all on the woman. They're gonna say, well, we know there's creeps out there. Why not be a creep in the first place? And that's the responsibility of you men. All of you start grabbing these men and these boys by the collars and putting a foot to their backside and let them know this is inappropriate behavior. Period.
I'm a father. I got girls. My girls would never be there. That's not where you need to be. There's too much shit that comes with that weekend. Find you something else you need to do. Whatever you want to do, find you something else. Oh, I want to go to Daytona. You're not going. I don't give a damn how old you are. You're my child. I would have to bury you if something happened. So we're going to use some better judgment. I don't have a problem with grabbing no kid by the collar. But at the same time I'm grabbing them boys by the collar, you need to grab them girls by the skirts. Because when they at these events, they ain't butt naked. They halfway naked. They doing shit they shouldn't be doing. And some of these little hot dick boys, they don't know how to hold themselves when they see all that. You know, you had people make millions of dollars just off the South Beach experience back in the day from girls just pulling up their motherfucking shirts. If you're going to these events, know what come with them. These are the types of things that come with them. In the perfect world, it shouldn't happen. But in the world that we live in every day, it happens every single day. You got a choice in the matter. You can either make a choice or you can make a mistake. Mistakes you normally don't come back from.
Yeah, and again, I'm with you, Demetra. The boys, they're going to get a foot in the ass. They've just fucked up their lives forever, and they should be put under the jail, if not put on the noose. You know what I mean? For what they did, because they should know better. But again, and it's unfortunate in the Black community, survival of the fittest is how a lot of us live. I mean, I'm not stereotyping. I'm just saying when the opportunity is there, just like the general said, you got these young boys who never really get a lot of pussy. And then when they finally get some good pussy, they can't handle it. There are some people that just can't handle that. Okay. And I'm not making excuses for them, but at the same time, when are we individually, male and female, going to take responsibility for what we do initially? If I'm in my right mind and a bunch of women rape me, that's my fault because I put myself in that situation. You see what I'm saying? But if I was drugged and I took the drug on my own accord, we're almost arguing the Bill Cosby situation. He was giving these women a sedative. They know he was giving them something. They took it anyway. He did what he did or allegedly did. Bill Cosby's in jail, for whatever that situation is, if you believe it or not. He's in jail. But when are we going to start saying, well, a man that you're trying to get a job with or, whatever, he's offering you a sedative. You're a young woman. You're a beautiful woman. It's 2 a.m. When are we going to start saying, the individual needs to own some responsibility as well? A woman should not be put in that situation, but also the woman should know, and she should be taught that from everybody, her uncle, her dad, her aunts, her mom, sister, whatever. She should have, know better. She's not at fault. We got to say, in a situation like that, all those people down in Daytona, and this is a stranger, and he's giving you something, whatever. Hey, no, where are your girlfriends at?
Well, I tell you what, man, women should be able to walk down the street and wear whatever they want. I agree. Men like me should be able to drive a nice car and not have a pistol on the front seat. I should be able to go to church and not have to worry about somebody running up in there trying to rob the collection plate. I should be able to go to the mall and shop and not worry about a crazy motherfucker coming in there with an M16 and shooting everybody. We don't live in the world that we lived in 30 years ago. We just don't. We are in the middle of so many pandemics. It's unreal. So we're going to have to make those adjustments. And I will never, I don't know if she was, I would never recommend to a young girl to go to an event like that for a weekend by herself. Hell no.
So I think you two are stating the obvious. Of course, you don't recommend somebody go somewhere by herself and, you know, drugs and all of that. Of course. But I'm not going to concede the fact that the onus is on those young men. That is on them. There is no excuse to do to her what they did. And bringing up Bill Cosby, you're talking about apples and oranges. Bill Cosby did not rape and rob, and he was never convicted of rape, never charged of rape. Okay, he didn't rape or rob or go use any of those women credit cards and leave them for dead. So we talking apples and oranges. And again, we in society who are raising these children or not raising these children, rather, it's our fault because we are producing a product that is extremely flawed to where you think as a man, you can go to a woman's room to have sex with her basically without her knowledge because they said she wasn't able to even walk, rob her, use her credit cards and steal her phone and everything and leave her for dead. What like that? We need to examine who are we raising. And when I hear, and I love y'all, but when I hear men make excuses and say, well, if she went in and Penelope, Janelle, I saw your comment. You say, should I be safe to walk down Homestead with $100 in my hand and not expect to be robbed? Yes, you should be able to. You should expect to do that. But what we've done is let our society go to the dogs. That's what we've done. And we tiptoe around the criminals instead of saying, hey, you know what, especially in our community, this is our community, and we get mad when the race soldiers come in there and start knocking heads around and killing black people. But we live in these neighborhoods every day, and we see stuff like that. But like, that ain't my business. You should know. It is our responsibility to police our neighborhoods and, more importantly, raise our children to where they're not on the fucking news behind robbing and raping and killing a young girl. Period.
Okay, Ira Sandel says the majority of these fuckers are raised by women who don't need men.
Stop right there. Stop
I agree with you. I agree with you. Wait. I agree with you. Wait, Demetra. In the Bill Cosby thing, the only thing that I was saying was he used a drug that they knew he used and they still use it. I don't care if you believe it or not. He shouldn't be in jail, in my opinion. So we're not comparing apples and oranges. I was comparing using of a drug. These girls knew that Bill Cosby was giving them something. Period. Okay, so that we're not comparing apples and oranges. Ira's thing: the majority of these fuckers are raised by women who don't need men. We are in agreement. These guys should not have done what they've done. I mean, to me, both sides bear some responsibility here, period.
Stop right there. But see, because you and Ira, y'all keep blaming women for what is going on. It takes a man and a woman to procreate and have a child. So yes, let's say that there is I know you want to jump in there, Gary, I'm almost done. But let's say there is a single mama raising a child. Where is the damn daddy at? Y'all always want to blame the single mama and the woman for turning out a flawed product into society, but y'all don't put their daddy on the same hook you put that mama. Where there's a single mama, there's an absentee father. So that's what we need to be dealing with.
I'm gonna come in here and say, I think tonight me and you just gonna disagree on this. I didn't say anything towards a woman, but what I am gonna say is this here. You go hard on black issues, you go hard on womenly issues, and you go hard in the paint. You got that same energy for Cardi? Because she was drugging motherfuckers and robbing.
You could I almost called Donovan.
She was drugging motherfuckers and robbing.
Rewind the tape.
She was drugging them, fucking them, and robbing.
Donovan.
So can you tear a fucking head off right now?
Hold on. Because one thing, listen. One thing Demetra don't do is throw rocks and hide her hand, baby. Donovan got the tape with me and him when we did our podcast before the pandemic, me taking Cardi B ass to task. Yes, I have the same energy for Cardi B. I personally think she should be in jail. I think she should be in jail. I don't think Cardi B should get a pass. I think she's just as bad as Bill Cosby. In fact, her name is Bill Cosby. Yeah, so I have the same energy for Cardi B. I don't ride with Cardi B. She admitted to doing it, so she's just as bad.
And what you need to realize, I'm an old man. And you getting up there, you're an old lady. This the culture these motherfuckers live in. This is what they do on a daily basis. Regardless if you want to accept that or not, we got a dead girl on our hands. Date rape and all that bullshit. They on Instagram and all this shit, smoking weed, they popping their pills. This is what they fucking do. So now that we get one and we lose one, we only know what the motherfuckers told us. We the new black media. We know what them motherfuckers told us. We don't know the whole, everything about what happened on that thing. I'm not giving them dudes a pass. You raped that woman, you robbed her, you killed her. You should go to jail or either get the death penalty, point blank. But I still say, it's some places, and I don't care what nobody tells me, that we don't need to be. And our children don't need to be there. Because it ain't gonna go right.
Jason, how you doing? You say in some cases, those single mothers are single because they run the baby's father off. Well, then if a woman could run you off from your child, you wasn't shit to begin with. Stop blaming women for you being a lackluster, not you, Jason, I'm saying in general, for you being a lackluster individual. I hear men say that, well, she ran me off. How a woman gonna run you off from your seed? Take her ass to court. Go get custody, and if you get custody and you go show up to get your child, and she don't want you to have your child, and you run the police the papers and say it's my weekend. You're not in your child's life. More than likely, you really didn't want to be. So stop blaming women. And I'm not saying there's not no hard-headed, wayward women out there who give men a bad time. We know that there is, but stop blaming women. Putting the blame on women for these badass motherfuckers running around in society. The father has to bear some of the blame too, whether he is there or he is not there.
Well, that kind of hit me hard down, man, because goddamn it, somebody hid mine for 18 years.
Yours is a different story. It's somebody.
Goddamn it, a whole lot of different stories out there.
Wait. Somebody hid your child. I'm not talking about somebody hiding your child. I'm talking about somebody saying a woman is running off a man from his child. You wasn't ran off from your child, so this does not apply to you. We talking because I hear that statement a lot. Man, she ran me off from my child. Yes, you a lie. She didn't run you off from your child.
Okay. I think we should stay, all guys from here on out, get treated like a motherfucking dog. She ain't got to do nothing to tell her that she need to do. She don't have to take care of the kid, don't have to clean the house, none of this shit. It's reasons why sometimes these dudes leave, man. And I'm telling you, if I'm not married to you, I have a responsibility to my child. I ain't got to stay here with you to prove a motherfucking thing. I didn't want no relationship with my baby mama after all that bullshit. I just need to have a relationship with my child.
Then leave with your child. Leave with your child. Go get some custody. I'm not talking about you in your situation, but I'm talking about a lot of these men who talking about I didn't want a relationship with her. I wanted a relationship with my child. Leave with your child. Go get some custody of your child. That's how you do it. But just to say she completely ran me off is bullshit.
Let me say this. Tanaya Smith says, Donovan, sometimes you come off as a brushed man. I don't know what brushed man means.
If you can kind bruised.
A bruised man. Oh, I don't know. Okay, well, once again, you're blaming the woman. Okay, no. Okay. And I know everybody's saying, blame the woman. We're blaming the woman. Well, I often hear from women, well, black women aren't protected. Black men don't stand up. How the hell are we supposed to do all of this and we don't even know what y'all business is? That's my business. You can't have it both ways, ladies. You just can't. I'm sorry.
Wrong again. Whether y'all got so much energy for women. Well, she shouldn't have did this and she shouldn't do that. You need to know who you're laying down with. I saw somebody on there put in this state. Women, somebody said low standards and expectations. Well, why are you a low standard and an expectation as a man? Why are you that way?
Okay, wait, Demetra. First of all, you got to remember it's our nature, okay? Men are going to up men, women like you're doing and protecting women. So you got to understand the nature of the beast. You're going to be like, oh, well, men should do this. And, men, women, you're always blaming the woman because that's all you're hearing. But all we're hearing from you is you're putting the onus on us. Yes, those dudes, nobody is saying that those dudes are correct in what they did. Nobody's saying that. The woman's gone. We can't bring her back at this point, okay? We can't. We don't know everything that went on with that situation. Nobody on this panel is saying what those nigglets did was correct. Nobody's saying that whatsoever. But as a father, as a man, and a stand-up man, I have to look at how did this young, beautiful lady be put in this situation? Yes.
I don't care if Scotty beamed her down out of his ass.
That is not what I'm saying. Let me finish. That's not what I'm saying. We're not saying because she's in that situation, it's her fault. We're saying, how did she end up there by herself with nobody else, no girlfriend, no nothing, to where now this woman is gone? Because it's obvious the dudes had their friends with them.
Doesn't matter how she got there, okay? And I think you two were thinking I'm absolving women of responsibility. I'm not doing that. But what I'm saying is we need to stop always putting it on the shoulder of women. Like this is a case about two dudes who took a very inebriated girl for however she got that way. It was wrong, however she got that way. Took her to a room and they came out and she was dead. This is what this is about. This is now about single moms or any of this other stuff, okay? What we need to be doing, I can't tell y'all what to do, is try to figure out how do we get away from that? How do we get away from having our men incarcerated over, whatever, and then our women dead over making a bad decision or however you guys want to make it. But to keep putting this on the shoulder of women, I think it's gross negligence, to be honest with you. And that's why a lot of these knucklehead dudes is running around doing the shit they doing.
Yeah, like I said, I don't see anybody on this panel saying that the dudes were okay in what they were doing. Nobody's saying that. But
I didn't say y'all said that, but
right.
When you deflect and keep putting it
on... But we're not reflecting. We're doing what men would do, just like you're doing, defending women. We're defending men. It's just a natural state of things.
It's not even that I'm defending women. I'm just saying
yes, you are. You're defending women because you're a woman. You're defending women.
I'm saying, let's tell the whole story. Let's stop getting sidetracked and talking about, well, if women would do this, that, and the other. It's both of them. It took two parents to bring all three of those people in that situation in the world, and it takes both parents to make sure they're putting out a good product.
Right, but right now, all three of us are sitting here armchair quarterback on Monday after Sunday. I could tell you 101 things of what these young men should have done. I could tell you 101 things. I raised my nieces. I could tell you 101 things of what the young lady should have done. The fact of the matter is these nigglets are in jail. This young girl is dead, all because both parties immaturely, stupidly put themselves in a situation they shouldn't have been in to begin with.
And Fayetteville, thank you. I am being neutral. I'm saying let's tell the whole story. Let's stop being one-sided. I mean, honestly.
And we're being neutral. Where are we saying, oh yeah, she shouldn't have done that. She shouldn't have. We never said that.
In all fairness, you came out the gate, with blaming women. You did.
No, I didn't. You took it as that.
One thing, you remember Memorex? That's all on tape, baby.
No, I said, again, I didn't say it's her fault. You never heard that come out of my mouth. I just asked questions like, wow, how did this happen? How did she get here? Why would she take pills? That's not blaming her. That's asking questions.
But yet you glossed all over these two dudes that took her there and did all of that. You asking somebody, wait a minute, you asking a question of somebody who can't answer.
Right, because the two dudes, they're done. They're done, period. So we don't need to really know their story right now. Smart young women, we all know, hey, it doesn't make sense that you put yourself in this. I'm not saying it's her fault, but how did she end up in a position where she's by herself? And I've heard part of the story, right? Whatever the deal is, it just doesn't make sense.
It don't matter at this point. She's
exactly.
the one.
Exactly. So if that doesn't matter, then these guys being in jail and what they did doesn't matter at this point. It's a done deal. It's a done deal. You can't say this doesn't matter, but this does.
Then you made the homie. Homie. You said that they don't matter what they did?
No. After the fact, it doesn't matter now. What's done is done. It doesn't matter. They did what they did. They're in jail right now. So here we are. Still both sides looking for answers.
Again, we as Black people, men and women, need to figure out what it is we're going to do to stop the bleeding in our community. This is our job. It's not just the women. And yes, and I'm a mother, so I think I can speak well on this part, a mother of a grown child. Those are the conversations I do have with my daughter. And how do you know her mom and daddy didn't have that conversation with her? You don't know that conversation was, don't go off with strangers, watch your drink. You don't know that she didn't have that conversation. And to your point, nobody knows what happened up until the time they got to that door. So yes, we as mothers should be having that conversation, and fathers too, with your daughters. Hey, don't do this, don't do that, don't be here, don't be there. Yes, we should do all of that. I think we can agree on that. But to steer the conversation away from what was done to her, I think it's odd to me. Very odd.
Nobody has steered the direction away from what happened to her. What happened to her was horrific. And unfortunately, it happens in our community quite a lot. And that's it's totally gross and just demeaning. So what we need to do, what's done is done, and move forward is just say, hey, for those that are watching the show and those that have daughters and nieces or whatever, stay your asses out of situations and dealing with people that you don't know, period. Yeah, she's gone. Maybe she didn't take the advice or whatever. She made a mistake. They made mistakes. Now everybody's paying.
But again, when you say that, you blaming her. You should have steered away from this.
No, I'm not blaming her. I'm talking to both parties. I'm not blaming her. See, as a woman, you are automatically, your nature is taking the woman's side. Because I didn't say
I'm not automatically taking the woman's side. No, I'm not. What I'm telling you is you did. You came right out the gate. Your opening statements in regards to this was putting the blame on single moms and this, that, and the other. So that's kind of where I went with that, because that's what you said.
Wait, single moms that raise boys. Single moms that raise boys. Had nothing to do with the girls. Because girls that are being raised by single moms, statistically, they look at their mom because their mom is a woman and they emulate their mom. That's why we have a saying in our community, teach the girls, love the boys. That's where that saying comes from. You guys teach the girls because they emulate mama. Daddy's not there, so the sons suffer. So when I talk about single mom in this scenario, I was talking in regards to the boys.
I left Al's comment up there for a while. You say we need to teach them. Okay, let's study. Didn't this shit happen last year? Bike weekend? This shit been happening forever. How many times we got to see this happen every single year at one of these spring break functions, and then we go to one of them and we forget the rules of engagement? Whether you boys, women, whatever. I'm going to be honest with you. I never grabbed it. It took me till I was in my late 20s to go to the Crawfish Festival in Breaux Bridge, Louisiana. Because I don't do a lot of crowds. It wasn't my thing. But I saw so much that was going on, similar to this shit. This shit been going on. So what does it take to stop it? They know it's going on. Every year somebody loses their child at one of these spring break events. Every single year. So what we need to do? Because if a dead body can't wake them up, I don't think nothing else can.
And I agree with you. That's where we need to be, is what do we need to do? You know, there's this saying that people like to loosely use, it takes a village to raise a child, and it does. It didn't say it just takes a single mama to raise a child, and if the daddy ain't there, then we, you know, put it all on the shoulders of a single mama because she might have ran the daddy away, and oh, she did this, that. It takes a village to raise a child. And yes, if a mom is raising the children by herself, the father, for whatever reason, is not around, then go to your daddy. Go to the grandparents, the neighbors, somebody. Okay, if that's where y'all want to go with it. But at the end of the day, we're talking about a girl, woman, however old she was. Nobody knows anything about her, really. Somebody has lost their life. Yes, perhaps making, you know, wrong decisions. But at the end of the day, we can't keep diverting away from the issue of she potentially was murdered by two men who went to do her harm. That's where the story is. And we need to figure out as a society, the village, to how to avoid those situations. And I'm going to just say, you know, and I can only just speak for myself, because I've raised my daughter and 3 others. And all of them have degrees, okay? That don't mean that you something, but no trouble, none of that kind of stuff. And I really think it means just to be present in your children's life. And also realize if you need help, ask for help. Ask people to help you, but don't just leave your children out there to their own devices, because they say, you know, an idle mind is a devil's playground. We see it all the time. People don't even know where their kids are. Hell, we covered the Melanie Lyons story where, you know, a bunch of teenage girls who were unsupervised went about the business of murdering another teenage girl. And the parent that we saw, you know, she was like, well, you know, but her daughter's 12 years old, unsupervised. Why was she unsupervised? So those are the things we need to really be trying to figure out. How do we do a better job at raising our children, and more importantly, instilling values in them? Because there's no values in somebody who will take the life of another and just, hey, I'm going to go use her credit cards now. There's no value there.
You know how they say, come as you are. I think that means come as you are from a mental state, but some people attribute it to clothes. There's a statement out there, it takes a village to raise a child. I'm going to call bullshit. And the reason I'm going to call bullshit, in this day and time, it don't take a village. It take a strong-ass parent if you're a single one. Ira can say something. He's a single father. He raises his daughter every day. And not 15, 16. She's a little baby. But I watched the way that he raises his child. Sebastian Bingley is another one. He's raised a daughter and a son by himself. So no, it don't take a village. It take a strong motherfucker in that house to set the example for them kids. Every house is not going to have 2 parents. That's not going to happen. From the beginning of time, once they started separating us in slavery, it was over. Then in the 60s with the welfare, they separated us even worse. I think it takes a strong-ass person to set the example, to show these kids what they can become. Most kids on spring break that really are out there trying to solidify their futures, they're not at these beach parties. They're doing something productive. A lot of kids go because they need that break. I get it. A lot of teachers take their families, and I get it. But don't go to these events by yourself. Don't drink out of drinks that come from the bar. I don't buy drinks at the bar. Never have and never will. If I wanted to drink at the bar, it had to be a bottle with the top on it. I want the seal on mine. You don't slip nothing in my drinks. Oh, I'm 53 years old. I've been doing that for 30 years. When we change the rules of engagement, we get different results. And in this day and time, you got to play the game to the extreme. Can't play it like, well, it should be. No, You play it like these motherfuckers trying to kill me as soon as I go up in the club.
So I would also say too that we actually did have a tighter family unit. More men and women were together right after slavery and up until the civil rights movement, feminism movement, and all that. So I think we also need to throw in the fact of, you know, our Black families not being together was by design. You guys know the story. If you don't, you can research it. We'll talk about it another time. It was by design, but we're cognizant of that now. At least we should be. You know what I mean? And I think another thing that we haven't really talked about are these children are very, very desensitized. And I know they weren't children, but they're children to me. 21 and 24.
They babies.
Yeah,
they babies.
Right. And so unfortunately, they're going to spend the rest of their lives in prison, you know, for whatever reason. You know, you can say
take the unfortunate off. They deserve to sit in that motherfucker the rest of their life.
Well, I'm not saying it's unfortunate because they don't deserve it. I'm saying it's unfortunate because not only was one life lost, there's 3 lives lost behind bad decisions on both ends. And so, yeah, it is unfortunate that for whatever reason, they made a bad decision to do what they did to her. And that little moment of whatever they did to her is going to cost them the rest of their life. So that's why I said it's unfortunate.
I just think that we have to play the game safe nowadays. You know, if your daughter wants to go to spring break, I'm cool. I mean, if mine say I want to go to spring break, I'm cool. Which 5 of your friends going with you? Well, I ain't got nothing going with me. Well, you're only going 1 or 2 ways. Either 5 of your friends or your old man coming with you. You're not going nowhere. No, I'm playing it safe. Because you have to plan that funeral for your child, regardless of what age they may be. And a lot of these people that go to these events, whether we want to admit it or not, a lot of people go with bad intentions. Look at the NBA All-Star game, all the cars they showed that they're missing their rims. Motherfuckers went there to steal rims. Motherfuckers went to jack people. This ain't the world we lived in where we could go to the house party on a Friday night and the next night we had skating. It ain't that no more. These kids don't have that. And when they get out and they get exposed to a different lifestyle, even if it's just for a weekend, some of them do not know how to handle themselves.
Yeah, if you looked at the reports that came in on the news, white media, but it seems pretty prevalent. Half of the people that showed up weren't even from Florida or in the Florida area. They came from out of state. And then if you looked at some of the video that was showing, Demetra and I were talking about that before the show started. You know, they just showed all of the bad Black acting that was going on down there. You know, Negroes twerking on top of cars, drinking, no mask, just, you know, out of control youth, Black youth was what the white media was showing. And what I'm saying is this, you know, and I know I see everybody's talking about Freaknik and all that other stuff like that. And, you know, the college stuff that was going on, just like the 5-star said, I would say half of the people that were there, they probably weren't, you know, college educated type people. They were just people trying to get out and have a good time. I'm not making excuses, but you can't be from Beverly Hills and, you know, hang out with the guy from, you know, Southside Compton and expect good things to happen. You know, it's almost like a class of cultures as they come together.
You know what I call it? I call it a poor people's getaway. Because if you really got money, you ain't gonna go down there when that shit going on. You gonna go when all that shit is over with. Because you got the money to go whenever you want. It's a bunch of poor people converge on Florida, converge on Virginia Beach. You know, spots like that, South Padre Island. They go down there for a little bit of nothing. But a whole bunch of them going down there with the intentions of coming up off somebody. No matter if they got to kill them, no matter if they just rob them or whatever. No, South Padre Island totally different. Because you got to deal with far more than just them regular party goers. Because you got the cartels coming across there. They trying to find them some full-fledged prostitutes. So if you know these things and you want to do something for spring break, find something that you can do. That's right up your alley. I tell anybody, man, you ever been to Redondo Beach for spring break? I love Redondo Beach. I love it. And people sitting here right now don't even know what that is. Try doing something other than fucking Miami.
Well, you know, the funny thing is we've been talking for the last couple of months now about, you know, you're getting a stimulus check and you're running down to Miami to go party, and yet you can't pay your rent, or you got other things that you might, you know, maybe your school tuition, your school books that need to be paid for. But a lot of those folks, I would just venture to say, and I'm just speculating, are down there with their stimulus check, having a good old time, not worrying about if the lights are going to be on next month or whatever. But if that's the choice that they make, that's the choice that they make. However, again, the misogyny in our community, the misogyny in our music, in our culture, on both sides, male and female, female rappers are just as Maxine Waters says, WAP is a enlightening term for women. It's an empowering term for women now. So, you know, we're getting this on both sides. And if that's how these young people are perceiving themselves to go out there and just do what they want to do, and, you know, and be what they want to be, there's consequences to everything that you do. And that's on both sides.
Yeah. And, you know, Gary, I want to talk about a point you made about, you know, if your daughters have to go with 5 different people and stuff. And it's good to carry in numbers, but you guys remember Kanika Jenkins? So everybody you hang your kids hanging out with ain't your friends, or aren't their friends. You know, some people don't care at all what happens to you. And so
if they believe in the music like they believe all these motherfuckers rich and all that shit with that music, everybody ain't your friend and everybody ain't your partner. Tell them believe that.
Right. And I see a comment, let's see, from Dr. Muhammad, and he says, a savage is a person that has lost the knowledge of self and is living a beast life. And is absolutely correct. You know, a lot of these children or young adults or whatever going out the house with absolutely no home training at all, you know, like at all. So I think people should be able to go to a beach regardless of what your social class is or how much money you're making, and act like you got some sense. But a lot of them didn't go to the beach to do that. A lot of them went to have a hot girl summer, to be a city girl, a city boy, and all of that other stuff, and cause a ruckus. But because they weren't taught those things at home, and then they get out in public and, you know, unfortunate things happen. But yeah, I think we just really need to spend a little bit more time, as he said, imparting knowledge of self onto our children so they know who they are, and more importantly, have a love of self. Because as they say in the nation, you protect what you love. And if you love yourself, you're going to love your people. You ain't going to be out there doing any and everything to yourself or to other people. It's just a fact.
Well, let's just think about this too. If you guys saw those videos that they were showing from Miami, you saw a bunch of young people running around with no masks on, drinks in hand, twerking, doing whatever they got to do. So I'm not saying that it's antiquated to this woman losing their life, but think of all these young people now, because of their irresponsibility and their stupidity, that are now going to take whatever new strain of virus back to their loved ones in their hometowns that they come from. So that just goes to show you, on both sides of that coin, these young people are just out of pocket and they just don't give a damn. I'm not saying that anybody deserves to die. I'm saying, you know, the stupidity is rampant.
I mean, yeah, it is, you know, but moving forward, we just need to figure out what to do, because this doesn't get better if we just, you know, sit on our hands. And like I said, hell, my daughter almost 30 years old. I could very easily say, well, I did my job, but I also know that my job is not done. You know, you have grown children, try to find some other children that you can mentor and, you know, impart some wisdom on, and, you know, just do what you can, because it is a village thing. These are our children. At the end of the day, it's not just Mrs. So-and-so's daughter up the street or Mr. whoever's down the street's child. They're our children. And we need to make sure that we do what we can to get a hold of them before they end up, as they already are, filling the prisons. It's our job.
Well, look, how's your backhand? You play tennis? Because You're going to have to slap the fuck out some of these parents to accomplish that goal. It ain't easy talking to these kids because some of these old ignorant ass parents don't want you to talk to them. I'm just telling you. Work on your backhand.
We reach the ones that want to be reached. Marcus Garvey said there's some people when he was trying to go back to Africa, some of us that are no good here and will be no good over there. So you can't save everybody, but you save the ones that are willing to listen. And, you know, we got to start with somewhere. And then with the parents who don't listen, who dropped the ball on them? So we got to stop dropping the ball. I'm not saying we're doing that, but we at least got to, you know, put a little bit more effort into these kids because the children are the future. I know that's cliche, but it's just the truth. And look what our future is doing. So we've got to get in there and get in there quick.
Well, I'm going to agree with you on that wholeheartedly. But again, in a community, everything starts with that woman. A great country, a great nation is built upon the woman. And that is why we have to make sure our young ladies are being prepared to be the mothers of the nation, of the earth, and all that other good stuff. So we have to do a better job on both sides of the ball, male and female, fathers, uncles, whatever. But the onus, I'm not saying it's all their total responsibility, but the point of the matter is the mother is the first teacher. The mother is the central part of a family. Everybody meets at Big Mama's house or wherever, Aunt Shirley's house, whoever it is. And that's just a fact. And we have to start teaching these girls, definitely teach the boys how to be men, because a lot of them just ain't doing it. But we definitely have to teach these young ladies how to be ladies and not thoughts. And I'm not saying they're all thoughts, but that culture of thoughtism.
Final thoughts, Mr. Mitchell.
Y'all done got my pressure up tonight. I'm going to go and do some yoga, which something. But yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate situation of a young lady, whoever she may be, lost her life to two young men who have thrown their lives away over making bad decisions. But at the end of the day, there are responsibility, and we need to do a better job at turning out a better product so that we don't continue having these conversations, because if we don't, it only gets worse.
Absolutely. I'm going to say my final thoughts. Brothers, fathers, you see the example that is, and the product, like Demetra said, of these young men being put out there. That is a direct reflection of Black men. You can't mirror it any other way. These young Black men did what they did, and they're Black men, and I'm a Black man. That's a small reflection of me. Doesn't mean that it is me, but it is a small reflection of me. We need to get back into our families. If you can't get back with that woman and you don't want to get back with that woman, we need to get a hold of our boys and teach them how to be men. These women cannot do it. They are not equipped to do it. They do the best they can. But at the end of the day, it is up to us. And if ladies, if the father is not there, doesn't want to be there, uses the bullshit excuse of going in and out of jail, you know, because he doesn't want to be a man, where's your brother? Where's your uncle? Where's your father? Where's your grandfather? Find a Black man to help you raise your sons. And I want to thank you guys again. If you were able to donate, I put my money in on $2 Tuesdays. And also remember this, when you tune into the War Zone, we don't always agree on this show. And we're not always right, but we're not always wrong either. So you guys have a great night. We appreciate you guys.
My final thoughts are simple. If they felt they had manhood when they overpowered that situation and they took advantage of that young girl and they raped her, they robbed her, they killed her, they're going to take your manhood in less than 24 hours when you go in that place. Don't drop the soap, nigga. I tell you that. Don't drop the soap. That's all I can say. We have to do a better job at clearly understanding that the ball is being dropped. The ball is being dropped. And for those that are not out there, spreading wisdom, like she say, get out there and do it. I do it all the time. So it's just something that I do. It's just something that I do. But don't drop the soap, big homies, because they wait on y'all as soon as you clear diagnostics. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. Say another spirited discussion by the best in the business. It's the war zone, baby. I want to thank my good friend Donovan Sadiq, the Queen Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general. Until tomorrow, my friends.